What is up, everybody? It is FISHBRERO season again. It is hot as blazes here in Texas right now. We had our first almost 100-degree day. Said 99. I'm pretty sure it was 100 degrees at my house. And the catfish, all the fish are trying to get into those summer patterns. Water temperature is still a little bit behind where it should be this time of year, but we're starting to find fish get consistently into those summer patterns. The blue cat are on their beds spawning, channel cat are spawning, white bass are moving out into the main lake, but we still got some crazy stuff going on as well. Even still have some shad spawning, crazily enough, but they shouldn't be spawning this time of year. So I have been fishing a lot, but haven't had much time to film. Shot a TV show for Fox. I've had some other stuff going on. Just haven't been able to get out on the water without clients to do any filming. So I'm going out tonight to see if I can't catch some fish. This right here, this line that you see right here is Thermocline. You see the water temperature has gotten up here about 84 degrees. It's usually a little bit warmer than this in the summertime. But this line that you're seeing right here is the Thermocline. So basically, there is very little to no oxygen in that water right there. The fish can go down below there, but they're not going to be able to stay there very long. They'll have to come back up. And I marked a few fish out in that deeper water below that Thermocline, but not a ton, not enough to really stop and bother to fish. But you're typically going to see that Thermocline develop in water, deeper water, anything that's over about 22 or 23 feet. You'll see that Thermocline show up when the water gets hot. If you're fishing on a lake or reservoir that doesn't have any current in it, then that Thermocline will sit in. And you'll see here as I'm kind of up on top of a mud flat right now, but as I get further along and it starts to drop off here, I'll slow down. You'll see when we get in that water that's deeper than about 21, 22 feet, then that Thermocline just magically appears down there. There we go, right there and right there on my down imaging. So again, there's not any oxygen in that water, or very little oxygen. So fish will go down there below that Thermocline, but they're not going to stay. So it's not uncommon to see fish suspended right up above it, and then mark some occasional fish down there below as well. But that's what that is if you see that on your graph. Back and I was gonna go fish the rocks. I pulled over a school of white bass. By the time I got my trolling motor back in the water and turned around to them, they were gone. So, oh, here they are again. You see they're coming through here. Big school of them. There we go. That's a double right there. You can see on my graph. See them moving through there. They're just moving so fast. See, the fish they're still popping out here in front of me a little bit, but not much. There we go. There we go. what I wanted to do, I was going to tie a top water on, and I knew they weren't going to stay up that long. So something broke off my bottom slab there. I can feel them down there swiping at it. There we go. Another one broke that off. Broke off the slab. So what happens is when these fish swipe at the fly that I've got tied up above my slab here, a lot of times they'll turn when they're slapping at it, and their fin will actually cut that line. That's why you lose that slab down there and don't lose the fly. All right.
Oh my God, I caught 2 fish.
Swing it over here. Swing it over here. There we go.
I caught 2 fishes at one time.
Here, hold that.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Okay, here they come again. Get ready. Whack 'em and stack 'em, Ava.
Oh, something's on there. Chad, it's on there. You just reel it.
Nice and slow when you go down. Keep the line tight. Feel the weight on the bottom?
Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm gonna fall.
You want to feel the weight all the way down.
Oh, it's on. It's on, Chad. Really? Look. Look. Monster.
So I was looking earlier out in like 14 to about 22 foot of waters where we've been catching the sand bass during the day, but they've moved up on top of this flat, and we're in 10 foot of water now, and I mean they are thick on this flat, and every once in a while they come up on the top and surface for just a minute, but they're biting just almost as fast as these girls are dropping the water down. We took a little brief break to go film a real estate video for my wife, and came right back, and they were here. As soon as we pulled back up, we dropped right back into them. Catching a lot of short fish, but there's still a lot of fish in here. That's a good one, Ava. They're just moving through, and there'll be a big school of them will move through, and then it'll black out again. And just every few minutes, but there's quite a few fish in here. I could probably turn this thumper on and draw them in and hold them in here to the boat. There you go. Another good one. You gotta say it.
Whack them and stack them.
Say it.
Whack 'em and stack 'em.
Sun's going down. I can take the FISHBRERO off. Switch back to my hummingbird hat.
Okay.
Yeah. Like being on a guide trip. Double down, baby, double down. It's another good one there on top. There we go. You all right there, Ava?
Yeah, it scared me. I thought I got stuck.
Another good one. All right. Ava's got another one. Good one, Ava. My bumper.
You're gonna irritate these guys.
Huh? We were using it earlier. Brings the fish in. You tell me what to do on the boat. You're not a fisherman. Just because you got a few fish in the boat doesn't mean you're a fisherman now. So what we're fishing with is just this slab here. This is an old ugly slab. These are made here locally. They're not real pretty, that's why they're called old ugly, but they catch fish, and this is about all I use for white bass. And then about 18, 24 inches up above it, I have this little fly tied on here, and it comes from the same place. A local guy here on Eagle Mountain Lake makes them, and he'll ship them to you. I'll put a link down in the description to them, to the old ugly slabs. This is just an Abu Garcia Vengeance medium heavy graphite rod that I'm using, and I've got Abu Garcia Revo X and Silver Max reels on these rods, 10-pound test line, and we're just lowering these slabs down to the bottom. You really kind of fish the same way, whether you're fishing shallow or fishing deep. But we're just lowering these slabs down to the bottom. That's a little yellow bass. We're just lowering these slabs down to the bottom, letting them hit the bottom, and then slowly raising them up and down. And the trick to fishing like this with slabs, Ava getting a little wild up here in the front. The trick to fishing with a slab, when you hit the bottom, and then you raise up like this and come up off the bottom, is when you lower back down, you have to lower down slow. I've got a fish hitting there, that's why all that slack went in the line. But when you lower down, you have to lower down slow and stay in contact with that slab, because they'll hit on the fall a lot. I probably catch more fish on the fall than I do when I'm raising it up. And if you don't keep that line tight, then you'll miss those fish. If you just drop that rod tip down, you don't stay in contact with that slab, you'll miss a ton of fish, especially with these smaller ones like this. White bass have to be 10 inches in Texas, but I mean, you can see my daughter up here is just wearing them out, catching them one right after another. And I've got a boat back behind me here that has tore his lip off. Sorry, fella. I got a boat back behind me here with a couple young boys in it. They've just been wearing them out. They were here catching them with me. And then when I left and went and got the girls to do this real estate video, they stayed here catching them the whole time. There's another boat right over here full of young kids just wearing them out. My wife is catching fish back here 2 at a time. Even though she's married to a fishing guide, she is not a fisherman or fisher girl. And she's catching a ton of fish back here. Here's Ava's got another one on. That's a good fish right there. Good sand bass. And when you get into them, you can really catch them. These are great fish to catch. If you want to catch a lot of numbers, great way to get kids really interested in fishing. And just an all-around way to go out and catch a lot of fish really fast when they're really bunched up like this. It took me a long time to find them. I did a lot of driving around, and I was looking in all the wrong places because I haven't been fishing in the evenings. I've been fishing early in the morning from 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning until about 11 o'clock. And I haven't been out in the evenings like this, so I wasn't expecting them to be up in this shallower water. But they're up here and they're thick. Come again, there's a whole bunch more coming back through. There we go. Leanne's got one on here. Double, we got a double.
Look at that. That's fun. Do you ever catch catfish like that too on the line?
Sometimes fishing like this we do when we're trying to catch sand bass. Tell you what, it's like being on a guide trip. They're still down there. I feel them. I can feel them bumping the line when I'm dropping it down. Ava's already got another one on back there. Here we go. I got one. I feel like a pretty good one's pulling drag. All right, sister. There we go. Just got bit. There we go. Huh? So they just shut off all of a sudden, and you know, we were catching them fast and furious there for quite a while. I was catching them, stopped, went and picked the girls up, and came back and they were still biting. I have no doubt I probably could have had a couple hundred fish in the boat if I'd have stayed and never moved, but caught a lot of fish. And you know, catching doubles on almost every drop on the slab and the fly. I'm gonna pull out here, look just right off of this ledge and just see if there's any more moved in here. I talked a little bit earlier about Thermocline and was showing that Thermocline on the graph. I want to show you something now that kind of looks similar to a Thermocline, what I showed earlier, but all this cloudy stuff like this is what you will see a lot of times at night, especially in the summer, and these are plankton blooms. And you'll get in certain areas of the lake and the graph will just black out like this, and the whole screen will look like that. And that Thermocline is always going to be between 21 and about 23 feet. So when you see this real cloudy looking stuff like this now on that graph, assuming that your fish finder is installed correctly, you don't have any interference, anything like that, that's plankton blooms is what you're seeing. And like I said, you'll usually see those at night. I'm going to pull my Ulterra up here, and we are going to head back to the marina.